Exploring leadership across Greater West Bloomfield and beyond is something that definitely happens each and every day in the classroom. Now, Oakland Schools is taking their expertise on leadership from throughout our community across Oakland County in a brand new series called Leading the Way. Joining us now to learn more about this series is the Superintendent of Oakland Schools, Ken Gutman. Thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Always a pleasure, Tyler. Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well into your new leadership role in Oakland Schools in 2025 as their superintendent. So from your perspective at the head of the offices in Oakland Schools, why is it important for your organization to explore leadership not only in our school systems locally, but across the board in our community?
Yeah, across the state, across the nation as well, Tyler. We have an obligation as an intermediate school district to provide support and leadership for our district. But there's also a greater need for support across the state and across the country. These are really important times for our schools, really important times for our country. And we want to make sure that we can share some expertise and when we don't have it, to bring in experts.
And so in this series, what are you exploring? As you mentioned, you're talking to experts in leadership in various capacities across our school systems in Oakland County and even beyond. What are we looking into as we examine leadership and how it affects all of our kids here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Thank you, Tyler. I'm really proud of Dandridge Floyd, our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources and Labor Relations. She does a really nice job interviewing people. From Haley Stevens to Tarek Soap, who's the president of Lawrence Technological University, and others, to see what lessons they've learned in their leadership journey. She's picked some really great people to say, what did you learn? How did you learn it? What do other people need to know? And so these are accomplished leaders, and she's asking them some really open, honest, poignant questions. And there are a number of lessons to be learned from these leaders.
And what's really important and what is interesting from these different conversations is these are leaders in so many different areas of education and of the greater community. As you mentioned, Representative Haley Stevens, she gets to see this from a national level, a federal level, while also supporting that leadership on the local level, these university presidents, and even those within Oakland Schools seeing this variety. So how do you hope that these diverse topics help to address some of the community needs in Greater West Bloomfield and throughout Oakland County as well?
Yeah, the West Bloomfield community is such a wonderful community, rich and diverse, and so much leadership that exists within the community. I think what this does is say, where do we see some similarities? Where are we alike within the community? And where do we have challenges? And so when you think about it from a leadership perspective, where can we partner to make a difference? We know there are so many community leaders. We know there are community leaders who are not outwardly leading in the community from the front, but their voices are in the room. And then when we can coordinate that and maybe advance some conversations throughout the community, the goal is to bring people together to create an even richer community in West Bloomfield.
Kenneth Gutman is with us, the Superintendent of Oakland Schools, our intermediate school district, or ISD, serving Greater West Bloomfield and many other school districts across the Oakland County area as they introduce their new leadership program, Leading the Way, which you'll see regularly right here on Civic Center TV and listen to it on 89.3 Lakes FM. People come up to me all the time, Ken, and they want to watch over a segment that I've done on The Splash with them and comment on it, and they rewatch a segment of it that they really enjoy. I don't like watching myself on TV very much, looking back at it, especially with other people, although I'll do it in an evaluatory mode in that case. So, pretty inappropriate, I'd say, then, for me to say, let's go ahead and have you watch your episode back. We got the first episode of Leading the Way. We're going to premiere that on Civic Center TV as we speak right here on The Splash Live and learn a little bit of leadership insight from the man himself and his friends at Oakland Schools.
Welcome to Leading the Way, Oakland Schools video series highlighting influential leaders throughout Oakland County. Today we are joined by our very own Mr. Kenneth Gutman, Superintendent of Oakland Schools. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, with 33 years of education experience, 15 as a superintendent, there's no person better to sit in this seat to talk about leadership. So can you tell us just a little bit about what was your leadership journey and how you got to be the superintendent of Oakland Schools?
Well, thank you so much. And I'm really honored to be the superintendent of Oakland Schools. You know, I knew I wanted to be a superintendent since I was a young child, and people laugh when I say that, but my father had spent almost 40 years in education, most of it at the central office level. Wow. This is what I've always wanted to do if I could not become a goalie in the NHL. Oh. And so it's the traditional path. I was a teacher, I was an assistant principal, assistant superintendent of human resources, and then spent a year as an assistant superintendent of human resources, curriculum, and instruction. And then from there became a superintendent in one district, moved to a district that was twice the size, and came here as a deputy a couple of years ago. And here I am as superintendent. I'm really excited to be here.
Wonderful. So on that journey, what is some career advice that you wish someone would have given you early on?
Probably to listen more than you speak. So often people think leaders have to have all the answers. We don't. We have to surround ourselves with really smart people and be humble enough to listen to what they say. If we think we're the smartest people in the room, we're not.
That is so very true. I'm often not the smartest person in the room. What is a truth about leadership that people don't often talk about, but it's really important?
I would say probably just vulnerability. You know, authenticity. When you put on this air that you're going to be the superintendent, are you really being true to who you are? It's that admitting you don't know everything. It's the vulnerability of making mistakes and owning them. So if you're authentic, people tend to understand that you really do care, that you're focused in the right areas. When you put on a show, people don't trust you. And when people don't trust you, the organization doesn't go the right way.
Oakland Schools' new episode series, Leading the Way, is premiered on YouTube, and you'll see it here regularly on Civic Center TV and tune into it on 89.3 Lakes FM. The star of their first episode, Kenneth Gutman, Oakland Schools superintendent, joins us today on the Splash Live. And can you talk about so many different aspects of leadership in this series? We saw a snippet of that very first episode, just about 5 minutes long, each of these all together as they come out week by week. Who is this for? Who do you think it really is the most important groups of people in our community to tune into a series like this and learn something about leadership?
Just like you, I don't like to watch myself in that sort of setting. But I will tell you that I think this can benefit, not necessarily my episode, but the others. It could benefit anyone in the community. I do think that when you look at some of the students in our community who may choose to watch this, parents, community members, again, we have so much in common in terms of the way we look at leadership. And I think that we can all benefit from the conversation about what makes good leaders. If we don't have leadership, where are we? And I think about education, but some of the lessons that you'll hear from others in this series, I think about Haley Stevens and the lessons you'll hear from her. And I think you start to realize that no matter what the sector, leadership is leadership. And that starts really young. There are leaders in elementary school and middle school and high school, and I'm talking about students. We can identify those student leaders. And it's really important to recognize that the loudest leaders aren't always the leader, that there are those who are quietly leading. And I think those lessons transcend all organizations and all sectors.
Something that people of all ages can learn right here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Ken Gutman, Oakland Schools Superintendent, with us on the Splash Live. Thank you, as always, for your time, sir.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Tyler. Thank you.